Abhijit da, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Anas. Good afternoon.
ভালে আছে?
আছো।
হয়। বাকী কেইজন স্পিকাৰ জইন হৈছে চাগে ন?
জইন কৰি আছে।
ঠিক আছে, অ'কে। আমি আৰু অলপ ৰখিম, ষ্টুডেণ্টছ আৰু সোমাই লওক। Abhijit, I think we can wait for a few more minutes. We can wait till we can increase the participants.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Right? We can wait for 3, 4, 5 minutes more. I think now we are having 50 participants. So as soon as we get more participants, we can add after 3, 4 minutes.
Okay.
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 Abhijita, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Pranjal this side. We have met once.
Right. I remember.
Yes. Yes.
So it's already 2:05. I think we can start, right? Pranjal, I think we can start.
Yes,
Abhijita,
definitely we can start. Yes, definitely we can start.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I welcome all the students to the virtual startup bootcamp 2021. This is organized by Institution Innovation Cell and Downtown Venture Lab with collaboration with NRL Ideation. So I'm Manos Bora, assistant professor from Mechanical Engineering Department, Assam Downtown University, and also working as a research officer. And I'm institution's innovation ambassador of IIC. So I would like to thank Mr. Avijit Begu, Corporate Planning Officer NRL, and other speakers for accepting our proposal. So basically, so today we are having 3 speakers with us. Sri Krant Pratim Singha, who is a senior manager, corporate planning NRL. So he will be speaking about the startups and its understanding about the startups, idea, business model. Then he will give some examples of startups. Then we are having Sri Abhijit Begu, who's officer, corporate planning NRL. Ideation. So he'll be mostly speaking about the grant or initiative for the grant funding, then equity funding future. And then finally, we are having another speaker, Bodhyan Datta, who is uh, and founder of Hip Hop company, and which is funded, a startup funded by NRL. And then finally we will conclude with a Q&A session. So basically our aim is to orient the students about the entrepreneurship and assist them to to start a startup. So I would like to thank Visit Pegu and all the speakers for joining us, and I would like to hand over to Mr. Prantapratim Singha.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Manas, and thank you, everyone at Assam Downtown University, for inviting us to have a startup bootcamp among your students, as well as I see a few faculty members are also here. So before we start, my one request to all of you: can we have a switch on our videos so that we can take a photograph of the participants for whomever it is possible, if it is okay with you, if you can switch on the video. Thank you everyone for switching on your video. Can we take a photograph now? Yes, I can see some. Yeah. I think Mr. Abhijit, you are mute. I can see
Yes, sir, I have.
Shatakshi, then Ashok, then Manas Bora, yeah, Tinlo, Ankit, Arnab, Saidur, Narendra, and Narayana. Okay, thank you so much for switching on your video. Yes, thank you. Now I think we have Pranjal also. Yeah, Mr. Pranjal Sharma. We can see you there. So now that we can start our session now. First of all, thank you to Assam Downtown University and all the participants present here for joining this event. So basically what I'm going to do is that I'll going to speak about some essential topics about startups. I will not take very long. It is a very high level kind of discussion from my side. That will be followed by Mr. Abhijit Pegu, who will speak about NRL startup funding program, I think, which will be more interesting to you than what I am going to speak. Then that will be followed by a real startup experience from Mr. Bodhayan Datta, who is a startup selected by NRL. So I think you will find those topics more interesting than what I am going to speak. But anyway, I'll just start with I have 2 slides to present. I will start sharing my screen. Let me know once you can see it. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, so I will only talk about some essential topics that one need to understand when you start your startup venture. Is it visible? Okay, I think you are seeing 2 screens, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're seeing 2 strings.
Okay, just let me correct this one. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, thank you. So when we say discuss startups, there are certain essential topics that one need to understand being a startup. The first one is the market linkage to your product. Your product has to be a market fit. For that, you need to understand which market you are targeting, the size and scale of the market. You need to understand if there is a demand for your product, whether your product is giving a solution to a current problem for the customer. And you need to understand, you need to scan the competition you have in that market, because it's very unlikely that you will be the only product or only startup or only company providing that solution. There must be someone else also. So you need to understand that. Then you have to have a unique selling proposition for your product. Then once you begin your journey, you need to understand that all startup business need to make profit, otherwise you will not sustain. So you need to have a 5-year profit and loss projection for your company, your startup idea, for which you need to make certain assumptions, both on the revenue side, on the costing side. Then you need to find out your earnings, revenue, basically revenue minus cost in simplest of terms. Then you need to make certain assumptions on how you will grow during this 5-year period. You will need to make certain milestones, like in 1 year time you will sell this many products, you will earn this many revenue, and then so on. So we will finally get into your cash flow position. Then you need to also understand what kind of capital requirement is required for your startup idea. You need to understand the capex part. Capex meaning the kind of money you need to build an asset, and then opex, the operating expenditure. Then one important thing is that all startups need to behave in a very lean and mean way. That is, you need to see that you don't spend extra money on anything. You need to be very mean while spending money, because in the initial period it's very difficult to get money for your business. Usually there is a thumb rule kind of thing, that 18-month runway. That means you need to have enough money to run your business for at least 18 months. So that 18 months runway, that will come from your previous profit and loss and cost assumptions. And another term, very popular term, is cash burn, which is like you need a lot of money to sell your product as a startup. That means you may have to think that's all I had to say. And now I would like to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Abhijit Pegu. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranta sir, for your a wonderful presentation on startups and entrepreneurship. So I hope all the audience have got valuable information from your presentation. So now I will be presenting on NRL ideation, which is a flagship NRL grant which we Numaligarh Refinery gives to startups. So first I will present a small audio video which highlights our ideation journey, the journey of NRL grant funding scheme since 2017. And after that, I'll give a small presentation on how you can avail the funding benefits to start your own venture. Okay, so I'll just share my screen. So let me know if the audio is not coming.
It's fine.
Yes, audio sounds good.
So this was the audio video of our journey so far, and you can apply for and all of your startup ideas at www.ideation.nrl.co.in. So I hope you liked the journey so far. So now I present a small presentation to highlight the main agenda of our bootcamp, which has been organized with Downtown Venture Labs and Institutions Innovation Council in Assam Downtown University. So let me introduce ourselves. Our initiative or program was launched in 2017 as a flagship program for in line with the Startup India initiative of Government of India to provide a robust and support system to entire Northeast startup ecosystem. So we provide incubation, mentoring, and mainly grant funding. And our objective is to promote original thinking in the region. So there is a recent study conducted by Deloitte in the month of December, and they've pointed out there are certain roadblocks or challenges in the Northeast region. And this is one of the problem statement which NRL ideation itself is trying to solve through NRL ideation program. So first is, as you can see, human resource. There's lack of skilled labor in the region. There's not sufficient number of mentors or enablers, and there is, as far as technology seeds are concerned, there are less technical know-how trainings in the entire region. There are less number of incubators or accelerators, and hence the financial resources and community. So these two are the main focus areas of NRL ideation. The availability of capital or access to money or fund has been the main roadblock for entrepreneurs from our region. That is why our parents mostly say go for a job, and instead of taking risk in the entrepreneurial journey where a minimum capital is required to start any venture. So due to the lack of that minimum capital, most of our graduates or postgraduates or students or even entrepreneurs go for jobs. And to find the gap, we found a solution. So this is where NRL ideation comes into the help of our entrepreneurs in the life of an entrepreneur. As you can see, this is the emotional journey of creating anything great. So let's say there's a small team of people, students who started a startup with a brilliant idea. And initially what happens is they're very enthusiastic and optimistic that this idea is going to work and will be unicorn very soon. So down the lane, they discovered then that the market is comparatively more tough than they were originally imagined. Because when they studied further in depth of the idea, they found already there are existing players, or they might come to the conclusion that this is going to be difficult or it is not going to work. So what happens is they fall into this black pit called the dark swamp of despair. It is also called the valley of death, so which usually startups face in their lifetime. So what happens is exactly to prevent the startups from this swamp, the NRL ideation is creating a bridge. This bridge helps you to cross this dark swamp of despair with your adequate amount of money through grant funding, and also equity funding is about to come in future, but mainly grant funding, so that the entrepreneurs have persistence, belief to cross this region, and have confidence in themselves and keep reinventing and inventing themselves, their ideas, until they're successfully able to cross this bridge and attain success internally and then finally in the society. So a part of this is NRL recognizes the need to provide the financial impetus to the ecosystem, startup ecosystem in Northeast. So we are proud to have 34 startups already selected under our program, and they are in all stages, starting from proof of concept, scale up, and they are in all sectors, including agriculture, allied sector, tea, automobiles, software, IT. So we had created a 10 crore fund in 2017, and today we have a commitment of 7.61 crores total fund commitment, out of which we have disbursed approximately 5.17 crores. So this is a small snapshot of how our startup selection has grown over the years, and this is a step chart. So this is a small sector-wise distribution of all the startups of in our family. So as you can see, we have automobile, we have tea, we have media, we have industrial technology, we have e-waste, we have agriculture, we have education, we have SaaS, software as a service. So from this, you can have an idea that NRL has a sector agnostic approach when it comes to startup funding. So now it comes to the main part of this presentation. How do you leverage NRL's this support system, or how do you apply your application? How do you get the funding, right? So first of all, you have to submit your application in a dedicated portal, which is www.ideation.nrl.co.in, and all the proposals, it is open all the year, so you can apply any time of the year, and proposals are screened once in every quarter, meaning 4 times a year. So we have an independent jury committee who come from diverse walks of life, like they are the directors of other startup mission of other states in India, like Kerala Startup Mission or Karnataka Startup Mission. We have also representatives from Assam Startup Mission. We have representatives from the very important stakeholders in the startup ecosystem, which is venture capital fund. We have investors from there. We have representatives from private sector also, like pharmaceuticals or like IT. And we also have NRL officials in the independent jury committee. So currently we give grants only, but we'll start equity funding very soon, which I'll cover it separately in a separate slide later. So as far as collaborations and tie-ups are concerned, we already have tie-ups with incubation centers like IIT Guwahati. We have tie-ups with IIT Bombay. We have tie-up with Sikkim Manipal SMU, AIC, Atal Incubation Center. We are also very soon in talks to sign MOUs with NEET Hub, which is the incubator from Assam Agriculture University, and also Guwahati Biotechnology Park, GBP. So this is exactly why we are here in Assam Downtown University to, as a part of the boot camps. We organize in several educational or academic institutes for promotion of our program, as well as to spread awareness that entrepreneurship is one of the key enablers of the modern economy, and it is changing a lot of lives across the world, and we should also be a part of this wave. So if you see the performance of startups under NRL ideation, so we have selected 34 proposals from where to whom we have given 7.26 crores as commitment, and we have paid 5.17 crores so far in 4 years. And if you see the output, now these startups have gone out and raised external funding. You must have heard about Series A, Series B. This startup has raised future funds. So they have raised in a total of 40 crores, 38.94 crores. And the revenue which they've able to generate per annum combined is above 50 crores. So you can see we have already created a value of around 100 crores by just putting in 5 crores as input. So this is the economic policy of advanced countries, which we are trying to bring, or advanced states of the country, we're trying to bring in this region. So we have generated direct of employment of 396 and indirect around 5,000 plus. And intellectual rights we have been able to generate of 2 patents and 7 pending. So this is the future which you are looking at. We have also built a corpus of rupees 30 crores for equity investment in startups. So unlike grant funding, which is debt free, which is there is no liability except for the milestones which we dictate to complete. So there is no interest or there is no concept of returning. But in equity investments, NRL will take stakes in the company, meaning 10% equity, and in return for the amount invested. You must have heard the Shark Tanks and the likes. They invest, let's say, 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs for 10% equity, similar sort. So once the startup is matured, let's say a startup like Flipkart started early in 2010, and now in 2016, when it has matured, the investor uh, uh, diluted his equity, and that money is funneled back to the trust through which this system is self-sustaining. So this is the family of startups we have as of now. You can see ERC Eye Care, One Tracker, Automobile, Gerand, Bricks, Parking Rhino. We have Vula, we have Duraco Technology, and also we have Mr. Bodhayan Datta. He is the founder of Hip and Hop. As you can see, he's one of the startups from our NRLization family. So with this, I would like to thank you for your patience and kind listening. And I encourage all of you, as Pranto sir has already mentioned, uh, please apply to www.ideation.nrl.co.in if you are an entrepreneur and you want to start your journey with NRL. We can help you with. So now with this, I would like to call our next speaker due to positive time, Mr. Bodhayan Datta, to address the forum uh, and share his experience about NRL and without NRL as well, of course. Yes. Over to you, Bodhayan.
Thanks a lot, Abhijit. Thanks a lot, Mr. Panto. So first of all, a big hi to all my prospective entrepreneur friends. And so firstly, I'll keep this very brief. So I will break down my discussion into first, talking a bit about my personal background, what has been what's my, whatever we have been doing before I started my startup journey, what we presently do, what Hip and Hop does. And thirdly, our journey, till now, with obviously with the assistance of another and what we were doing before that. So my name is Bodhayan Datta, and I am an engineer, and I did my PGDBA in marketing from Symbiosis University, Pune. And I have a corporate experience of 16 to 17 odd years that has been primarily in Delhi, NCR, Mumbai, Chennai, right, Kolkata. So Northeast per se and Guwahati per se has been a very, very new ecosystem for me. Now, what we do, so 2 years back, we started this startup in Guwahati. So we are a startup based out of Guwahati, and the name of the brand is Hip and Hop. What Hip and Hop does is we are a hyper-local focused demand generation and on-demand fulfillment platform. So what it basically means, we have two very distinct offerings. One, we are rolling out a city-specific lifestyle-based e-commerce platform, which means all the sellers and all the buyers of a particular city can come together on one platform and see what's there to sell, what's there to buy. That's the first offering, right? The second offering, which we have been running since the last 1.5 years, is our on-demand task fulfillment, which means anything and everything that needs to be purchased or bought and that can be delivered safely on a two-wheeler, we do that. So Swiggy and Zomato focus on, let's say some part of grocery or food items. For us, we are into anything and everything. Let's say in downtown, somebody forgot their laptop, we can get that delivered. Somebody forgot their charger, we can get that delivered. A document, right? Some package, books, clothes, anything and everything that can be legally and safely delivered. That's what we do. Now, just to briefly share what our journey has been. So as I told you, so after 16, 17 years of work, it actually took us a bit of, guts to leave out our corporate job and then take a plunge into the entrepreneur journey. So both I and my business partner, who's also my wife, my co-founder, We both were working in Delhi NCR, and since she is based out of Guwahati, we thought that we would be setting our base in the Guwahati in the northeast. Primarily, also for the reason because I personally believe that the northeastern ecosystem has a lot to offer. We could have very easily set our startup, in Delhi NCR or in Bangalore or in Mumbai. But I definitely believe that Northeast, we are right now, this whole ecosystem is right now in a place where the acceleration mode is yet to be hit. So for all of you people, I guess it also gives you a very good opportunity if you actually enter into this field with that due and diligent thought process. So that was so we actually so just to continue with our journey, we actually thought of this whole idea before COVID hit. That was in October, November 2019, and then in December, COVID hit. Everything went for a toss, right? So we started our operations on 18th of May 2020. That was the first day of the first unlock. And then we actually found out that this was a service which was very much needed. So even during the lockdown period, or when the first unlock happened during the COVID pandemic, we actually bought a lot of medicines for the patients. We actually delivered a lot of COVID needs. We actually, there were a lot of people who were, confined in home quarantine. We actually got them all the household stuffs, groceries, right? Even somebody, we actually bought a pressure cooker for somebody so that they could cook at home. There were a lot of senior citizens, right? Whose all of their, young children, they were, working abroad or studying abroad. We used to deliver a lot of groceries to a lot of senior citizens. And subsequently, the good part is a lot of grocery apps have, come post then. And, this idea has actually taken foot. So we are also proud in a way that we have actually got, you know, an idea of convenience which previously didn't exist in Guwahati or in the complete Northeast. And since then, we have had a lot of similar platforms who might be doing something a bit different from us, but something very much in line of providing, convenience to the customers. Now, this is a bit about, what our journey has been and what not. But of course, see, we have been going from strength to strength. We were building, so we were a part of the Neris 1.0 platform where our idea was actually appreciated, recognized. Then when we were growing, right, we also had to ensure that we are doing something and we are growing from strength to strength so that we can also attract external investors or investment in, along with that, to ensure that we are able to sustain along with whatever savings we have and whatever revenue we were making. And we really thank NRL. So NRL has been one of the initial first platforms who actually believed in what we were doing, in our idea, and they gave us with a grant, right? And so, and there are a lot of platforms, and I hope a lot more platforms like NRL come up, so that a lot of startups like us get that kind of a hand holding that many startups need, right? Now this is basically what our journey and everything has been. Just to end it, because you guys are all young, you guys might be full of a lot of fresh ideas and all that. But my only suggestion to you, because I have some, work experience, extensive work experience behind me. I have more than 2 years of entrepreneur experience behind me. Just to give you guys, a kind of a feeler that whatever ideas you guys are working on, ensure that you guys are planning to jump into the entrepreneur bandwagon for the right reason. There would be multiple ways to earn money, but if earning money is your first thing, trust me, startup journey and entrepreneur journey is not the easiest way to get that done. You guys need to be passionate about the reason and the problem that you're trying to solve. And you need to be smart enough to understand that the problem that you're trying to solve is not just limited to some people. That problem needs to have a sizable need. Otherwise, you will not be able to grow your startup, whatever idea you might be, going ahead with the best of the ideas. But if it is not the right market fit, if it is not the right time for the idea to come up, it won't work. So that's one. And secondly, as Mr. Pranto also said, that 90% of the startups fail. very few of the startups actually get the kind of funding that they need. So if you guys are actually deciding to get into the startup bandwagon, be ready for the fact and ask yourself, what if your startup doesn't get funds? Would you still be able to, and are you still ready to continue with your journey? Now, that's a question that you need to ask yourself, right? So, somebody like us who has burnt all the bridges, right? This is we left our cushy jobs, we are grinding this out, so we are very clear and committed. Even if we do not receive the kind of funds from any external source, we would be ready to slog it out, right? Because we are passionate about what we are trying to build. We really believe that this is going to add a lot of value to the ecosystem that we are working in, and that is my suggestion, to all of you friends of mine. So anyway, that's all I wanted to speak. So thanks a lot. Thank you, Abhijit and Mr. Pranto.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Bodhan. So it was a wonderful experience by you with the NRL and with your startups, and I hope this will be very helpful to our students. So before starting the Q&A session, I would like to request all the students to kindly give your attendance in the Google Form given in the message sector. Now, regarding the questions, if anyone is having any questions, kindly unmute yourself and one by one, and you can ask your queries. Dear students, if you're having any queries, kindly unmute yourself one by one, and you can ask your questions.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
So I have a question regarding the need and demand of lab-grown dairy products, lab-grown meat, and industrial-grade coal made from coconut charcoal. Is there a need? Do I have a market space in India and other Southeast Asian countries like Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand?
So I believe your question is to us at NRL. We are not here. We are not the jury, or we are not the right person or the specialist to answer your question. But being a generalist view would be that you can do secondary market research. You can do you can study reports. This is available on Google as well as on the public domain, and you can approach also the specialist in this subject, like professors from, or scientists from Assam Agricultural University, or Defense Research Laboratories, DRL. So I think that would be the right approach in this.
Thank you, sir.
So do you have any more questions, please? There was a question by Deepak Prasad Bania. He has it in the message box. Why 90% means why fail 90% reasons, means he wants the reason that why 90% of the startup fail.
So if you I mean, that is a very difficult question to answer, but if you see, yes, sir.
Okay, is there a question to me? Why 90% failed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think Deepak also, wrote in the chat box in the messages why 90% fail. So I think I have given plenty of reasons, why 90% startups fail. I have tried to put them in 5 different baskets. Some are strategic issues, and strategic issues like, as Mr. Bodhayan also spoke about, market fit product. If your product doesn't fit your market, then it is very unlikely that you will succeed. That is one major reason. So you need to do your market research thoroughly and need to find out that there is a need for your product, or at least you should, if there is an existing product, then you need to see that your product is some way better than your competitor's product. You are delivering something different to your customers. So that is one of the very important reasons at the very beginning of your startup journey, I would say. Then as you progress, you will find many other reasons that in the operational issues I have highlighted, cost and pricing issues, like sometimes you price your product higher, very high. So what happens is that if you put a very high price on your product, it's very difficult to acquire customers, because for a customer, they will always like to see that they can get the product at the minimum cost for the customer. So there is you need to ensure that you have the right product price, and then at the same time you cannot keep your prices so low that it doesn't even recover your cost of producing. So otherwise it's like you're giving away money from your own pocket to the customer. So that is something you need to ensure. Then another reason Mr. Bodhan also spoke about, this investments for starting your business or for continuing your business. For scaling up, you will need for scaling up, you need a lot of money. Uh, so these are some reasons. There are a few more. I think I have already highlighted them. I can share them in this chat box also. You can Google it out. You will find more details about that. Yes, that's all. I'll just try to send it across in the chat box also.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So do you have any?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, what is patent for any startups, sir? How patent is done for startups?
Okay. So if I may answer your question, so Government of India has, especially for the Northeast, there is a relaxation. You can approach the Assam Science and Technology Center, ASTU. I think there is in Gorchuk. If you register yourself as a startup in Assam under MASI, if you have an ID of Startup Assam, you can apply for the patent there, and until your patent is approved, you will not be charged. It is free of cost. So that is one way I know. There are other ways also. For example, if you are a student of IIT Guwahati, so there is a patent center there. You can just file, but that is only for the students of IIT Guwahati. So I would
In
rather prefer.
addition to this, I would like to also say that we are in Assam Downtown University also, we are having IPR cell. So, so the students, if you're having any patent related issue, or if you want to file, you're having any product process, then you can contact me also, and or you can come to the directly to the, or you can go to your specific dean, then he will forward the matter to us. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Sir, I would like to add one more question to Bodhan, founder for Hip and Hop. So, sir, actually, how you are managing the deliveries? Like, you have to manage the delivery guys, right, for delivering the products. So, how you are managing this thing?
So we have our own operations. We manage our own fleet. So we are very, very similar to what Swiggy and Zomato does. We have our own fleet. We have our own operations team who manage our own fleet. So that's about it. Now the point is, so the fun fact is, so that when I was talking about how passionate you are, right? So when we didn't have funds to create a mobile application, right? Our mobile application is still under development and all that. We actually used technologies like WhatsApp, Google Map, Google Pay, Paytm, right? Cash on delivery. We have used all the technological platforms that are available free of cost today, and we have curated and tailor-made a solution. So all of our customers as of now, they send their complete requests over WhatsApp. We communicate over WhatsApp with our delivery riders. Whatever they pickup addresses, delivery addresses need to be sent. We use Google Map. So that is basically, so till the time we actually got some additional help where we could use something, we still made a solution which was, which made us actually possible start our operations, get some business, get some revenue, make the customers know about us. So that's about it. So yes, to answer your question, we have our own fleet, delivery fleet. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
So, yes, sir. So then, how can the customer can reach you, sir? Do you have an like website or an application you have running?
First, we have our own Facebook and Instagram page. and we have we have a particular official number. If need be, that can be shared. So anybody who calls or sends a WhatsApp over that number, our operation team gets takes care of them. Whatever are your requirements and all that, they will be inquiring it, understanding what your requirement is, and they'll be letting you know the charge. You pay the amount, and whatever are your pickup as purchasing requirement, that will be taken care of. So everything, as I said, over WhatsApp. We have a official number, so people contact us on that number.
Okay. So you are operating in only Guwahati city, or you like in any other city where?
No, so we have started with Guwahati city, but yes, by the end of this year, we would be expanding to 2 more cities. And of course, with continued support from NRL, we will be going to further more cities.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Sir, I have one thing
Yes, go
to
ahead.
share. So in my place, I have one raw material, which has been taken still in a raw form. There is no machine, to create that things. The people are still there, making from their hand. They're still using the old things. And right now, I'm thinking is that that I'll make one easiest form of machine, that can take less time and will be selling in the cheap price, right? So if if I have to start it, then sir, what what can I do, sir? Can you please tell me, sir?
So I think that question is, so Pranda sir, if I may answer the question.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead. Yeah, sorry, I was muted.
So may I know your name? The question, if you can.
Tarak.
Okay, so basically, Tarak, the main thing is you have to identify what is the problem you're trying to solve. So you're trying to solve a problem which really exists in your place.
Yes, sir.
But then, yeah, when you talk about a startup is something again. Uh, you have to earn profits. You have to earn revenue. You have to employ people. To earn profits. So if you are a profitable firm, if you want to be a profitable firm, you have to first identify what is the market there, what market size, meaning how many people in your village are willing to pay for the machinery, and if they're willing for pay for the machinery, what would be the price they would like to pay. So this kind of information you have to find out before you start your venture. So this is called the market study. You have to do a market study first. If you have this information favorable for starting a company, a private limited company where you'll be filing taxes, you'll be giving tax to the government, and if the numbers are in favor, you can start the startup. Or else, mostly such activities come under social entrepreneurship, which is mostly government aided and government funded. So there, I don't think profitability would be much of any importance. It rather tries to solve generic issues.
Yes.
And Regant, it's very good that students are coming with ideas. So anyway, Tarak, you may
So,
contact us also, Institutions Innovation Council,
Yes, sir.
in our university, whenever you have any ideas or you have some any confusion regarding such kind of issues, that what kind of problems we can select or not. So you can also contact us also. Okay, is it okay?
Okay, sir. Actually, sir,
Yes.
I'm just trying to prepare it. I'm just trying
Yes,
to make it
that's
on my mind right now. Still
yes,
not
that's you're not
on.
getting you want to initiate it. Okay, anyway, you come to us, we will help you for the whatever necessary we can make. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
that's very good. Yeah.
yes, sir. I want to one more question to. Can I?
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Like I may have some idea that is purely based on self. So actually, I'm not that much confident that I can make an software or so. But what I can make is a basic website or so. So like if I have some idea that quietly works good in mobile software also. So in that case, if I come with the idea and pitch the idea on NRL platform, then will NRL fund me for that to make any software or so, or I need a full complete business cycle from this to get the funding from NRL. So can you please assist with that?
Yes, that is a good question. And the answer to this is yes, you are right. You have to come up with at least a minimum viable product, MVB, or at least a sales cycle, as Pranto sir has mentioned earlier. You have to complete a sales cycle because being a technology company, which you will be, so you have to be responsible for all the customer experience that is going to come in your way in future. So whenever you're, for example, you build an application, Android app, and there is a bug or there is an issue, you have to fix it immediately. You cannot wait for somebody to fix your application, right? So in such cases, there is a minimum traction you should have. Meaning, let's say you have at least 50 or like 30 customers. You have already done this testing, bug fixing, issue resolving thing with this 30, 50 customers. And then once you're done, then you can apply on our portal for increasing your chances of getting grants.
All right, sir. Thank you.
That's
Now,
great.
I can see some questions in the chat box. Deepak has written again, like what is customer acquisition cost, how to acquire customers in very low cost. I think this is for you to find out. I don't know what kind of business, startup business you want to do. Probably if you can let us know where you are trying to venture into, what kind of business, Deepak.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, Deepak.
Yes, sir. So basically, I'm trying to build a digital product which is very helpful for students. Currently, I don't want to tell in, and since many people are there in the house, so
Okay, that's okay.
yeah. So I just want to know how to acquire customer. Actually, when Swiggy acquire customer, they pay and they pay bill, right, and in to acquire the first customer. So how to acquire customer for that?
See, once to acquire customers, first you have to be ready with your product. And probably in the beginning, generally how it happens. Once you develop your product, then you try it out with your friends. You give some kind of free issues to your friends, maybe just for tasting for first one or two customers. Then you may give some promotional discounts to your first few customers. That's how you start your journey. And then once it is validated in the market, your product is validated in the market, probably then it's far more easier to acquire more customers. But to acquire customer, there is a term called lifetime cost, customer lifetime value, that once you acquire a customer, what kind of value that customer will give once he is there for your for his lifetime. So those are some of the terms you should search in Google, try to find out and understand on this subject. And only when you enter the market, then probably we will learn more about reducing the cost of acquisition. Is that okay, Deepak? Does it
Yes,
answer
sir.
you?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. And another question here I can see, for startup, are we recommend to Shark Tank? Okay, that's something that you have to decide. Shark Tank, I think, is a very good platform for to get funding. But at the same time, I think, as far as I know, once you get funding, try to get funding from Shark Tank, you have to dilute some amount of your equity for the money you are getting. So of course, it's a very good platform. You will have to, once again, these are very individual things. You will have to decide whether you want to dilute your shares in the very early stage. I don't think it's advisable.
Yes.
Assuming that you are in the very early stage of your ideation process, it's not the time for you. Probably you will get better value when you have some
Yes,
market
sir.
traction. Yeah.
Okay. So I have one question regarding the submissions of project proposals. So it is around the year, correct? So
Yes, it's around the year.
so anytime we can send it, and then obviously you are having your own schedule. Based on your schedule, you select and then you call for them.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So any more questions? I think it's 3:10.
So, sir, this class will be continue on which day?
Sorry.
Tarak, actually, this is only one time class only. If you have, this is
Okay.
kind of a camp that from NRL we have joined here today to tell you.
So this is a session to initiate more startups or idea from you. Okay, so this kind of sessions will be held. It will be going on around the year. So today NRL has come here to give a session on how to go for the startups and how they used to fund for different startups. So this is a seeding kind of process.
Thank you, sir. And
Yeah.
thank you, all the NRL team.
Do you have any more questions? I think we can. It's already 3:10. So thank you, all of you. Thank you, Abhijit sir. Thank you, Pranta sir. Thank you, Hip and Hop, for joining us and for the great session by which the student can think from today. If some started coming today first day, so they will start thinking about the new ideas and how they can go for the startups. So thank you again. So we can end this session.
Thank you very much.
And we will promote as much as startups we can send to NRL.
For sure. Looking forward to it.
Of course, sir.
Thank you, Pranta sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.